Well, hello folks. Got the rooster crowing at me. And welcome to another little episode of Real Country with Jeff and Melanie. As usual, I'm running about a day behind on my chores. I guess thanks to the Valentine's Day holiday. Should have had this done by yesterday, along with a few other little chores. But I was always taught we're supposed to kind of cut back our roses and our tree shrubs. Well, not shrubs, excuse me. Cut our limbs back on our trees by Valentine's Day. Do our pruning, in other words. And of course, as always, life gets in the way. Had to stay in the road a little bit. Let me prune this back so we don't snag our clothes when we come in the house. But I don't think 24 hours is going to make it or break it, one way or the other. I have had to cut these bushes back more during the growing season. Simply because we planted these roses in a flower bed where it runs off of our house rooftop, and I guess because of that and where we're at is so much direct sunlight every day. He's in fine form today, tell you what. He's showing himself, looking for a raise, I guess. I hope this video will turn out okay. There's so much glare already on my camera that I really can't see anything in the viewfinder, so I hope this works. If not, there won't be a video because nobody wants to see nothing. I hope it turns out right. But anyway, yeah, these things grow so fast, and like here is one limb, and that's probably a good 1, 2, 3, over 4 foot of growth. And I cut them, I'd say probably right before Halloween. We have a hot growing season here, and at Halloween time, temperatures are still up some days in the 80s to 90s. Like I said, we're down here in the south in Alabama, what I jokingly call LA, Lower Alabama. We're actually kind of middle of the state. But yeah, our weather has changed over the years. We don't have a true winter. We have a few days that'll get down in the 20s or 30s. But a lot of the time, it mainly gets down about 40 something at night. We don't have too much frost unless you're trying to grow something. And then it's just enough to aggravate you when you're trying to grow, because it'll kill your plants. And right now I think we're probably fixing to have that scenario play out in the next few weeks. We had frost on the vehicles and on the roof of the house. Let's see, I want to say it was middle of last week. Then the next few days we're up in the 70s. Today we're supposed to be pushing 70. Only got down to about 40 or 50 last night. And we're talking a slight chance of thunderstorms tomorrow and rain. And then even better chance the next day. So after that, they talking we may have a couple of more nights down in the 30s. I was watching a fella that does a weather report on YouTube, and I'm sorry, apologize, I don't remember the young man's name. But he was talking about we may have a bad situation like that. Hadn't happened in several years. where it sets us up. We had a mild winter so far, and then all of a sudden a polar blast will come through, and we might have some sure enough rough weather. Let me cut this last one, and I think that's gonna be about it. I'll do a little fine tuning as we go. But put my little clippers up before I forget them. And then I'll turn this around, and we'll see about seeing ugly old me. There we go. Yeah, the way he talks, a polar event will happen, and a massive rush of cold will run down, and we may have some sure enough cold days and nights for a little while. Might even be some winter weather, and might shock all the buds off of the trees. Anybody trying to plant anything, it might kill them with a frost. Hello, Buck. Hello, Buck. I'm getting loved to death while I'm trying to do my little video. This is the first two-tone buckskin blonde German Shepherd I've ever seen. There's his sister Bella. Hello, girl. Alrighty. Well, that was just a little video right there. We're talking about our rose bushes. Now, I just want to do a little update on our sweet potatoes that we put in the jar about roughly a week ago. I think today's day 8. Like I said, we're going to walk you through the process of trying to grow some sweet potato slips. So, like we said, about 8 days ago, I put them in jars in water, supported them with toothpicks, and let me turn around and show you just a little of the growth that's happening. Now, it's slow, and like we said, it'll take about 2 weeks. But if you can see my finger right there, see that little white looking worm coming out? Well, that's where we're starting to get a little root system for slips. One right there, and let's see, turn this dirty jar around. I don't know how good you can see it, but there's roughly bad camera work, fella. Right there's another one started. And over here on this one, we got 2 little tiny ones right above my finger. And like I said, it's slow go. It ain't gonna happen overnight, but hopefully, roughly in about 2 weeks, we hope to have some 5 to 6 inch slips sticking up. And I may have to go to bigger jars. A couple of these potatoes are small enough there's breathing room, but this one is snug. And it may not have no room for any slips. So I do have some bigger jars as we need it. I can swap them out and it won't harm anything, pull it out real quick and exchange it. But like I said, we got another week and hopefully they'll start and jump on. Now, of course, I started this and I've been bringing them out every day and putting them out here on the hood of this truck and let them stay until right before sunset. We've had hot temperatures, so that ought to be the best growing we can get and full sun. And I bring them in before the temperature drops too bad. But we've had 3 or 4 days during that week that we've had cloudy, overcast skies like today. And we've had a couple of rainy days where I couldn't bring them out. So it's trial and error. We'll just see what we can do. But that's our little sweet potato slip growing update on day 8. Alright, now let me ease over here. And I got one more little quick thing we're going to walk by. Oh, let me walk over here to the little pen. Hello, Maggie. And we'll check on the chickens, see how they do. They ready for some dinner. It's about time for me to feed them. We got a mix of some Rhode Island Reds and some old Plymouth Barred Rocks. I give them a pep talk every day. See, they lay me some eggs. Right now, I think I got more roosters than I got hens, so a few of these may have to go to freezer camp. But lay me some more eggs, or we might have to go see Colonel Sanders. That's the joke. But let me get over here. And one more little quick thing I want to mention, and then we'll turn y'all loose for today. Oh, there we go. And like I said, our little channel is, real country. It's about how average, everyday people live, and we're not deep in the country. I mean, I would love to have a big, lot of acre farm way back in the woods, but we hadn't got there yet. May never get there. But we try to just do things by the seasons, like I grew up doing, just poor to average country folks. And we try to plant when we can and raise a little livestock when we can, and want to do a little hunting, want to do a little fishing, and take on little trips and kind of keep track of traditions and customs and way of life that people are forgetting. And now with all the problems in the world, the food supply, everybody's wanting to start gardening. Everybody's wanting to start raising their own. So we're going to try to do as much of that as we can. And at the same time, people are forgetting how back in my day, and I know I'm getting older, people had manners. People had respect for each other. You didn't have to like everybody, but you tried to get along and be respectful. Nowadays, it's like, I don't know what's going on. People don't know how to carry on a conversation. People don't act like they want to wait on you at a store. And promise you, it doesn't make you less of a human being to say please and thank you. It don't mean nobody's better than you or richer than you or poorer than you to say thank you and yes ma'am and no sir. That's just courtesy. It don't cost you nothing. And some of the most humble people I've ever met were also some of the richest people I've ever met. And it don't cost anything to be kind and decent. It don't make you a big macho man to fuss and rip and roar and cuss and threaten people. So periodically, not trying to fuss about anything, may talk a little bit about manners and etiquette and training. And I know right now there's a gentleman for years been writing books and appearing on TV, to Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs, and he has brought up a very relevant point that there's nothing wrong with not having a college degree. I mean, we're going to need people to build houses and work on cars, and some of those people make a lot more money than the guys with the college degrees, and they don't spend 20 years paying off debt to go to college. You know, education's a great thing. Everybody needs some. But if you know a skill, if you can learn to produce something, you know, hey, there's nothing wrong with that, and you can succeed. Just like if you have manners, people think more of you. If you're respectful, people will think more of you. You can own the biggest store in town, but if you treat everybody like dirt, I don't know nobody's going to shop for that. And kind of like the old Roadhouse movie, people ain't going to pay money to go to a slaughterhouse. Well, people ain't going to go to spend their hard-earned money when you just simply ask somebody, hey, where's the ketchup? And they act like they want to cuss you out. And if you go to the store to buy something and they bag your groceries or, you know, going to help you get a product, somebody needs to train these people the correct way to bag groceries. I mean, this is simple work. This is first job stuff. But everywhere you go now, people will put your poisons in with your meat. They'll put your cold stuff in with glass. They'll put your, canned goods on top of your potato chips or your light bread. And if you say something to them about it, like, hey, please don't do that, we ain't even walked out the store with it, they look at you like there's something wrong with you. So every now and then when I get a little bee in my bonnet or think about it, I may bring up a little topic. May not change nothing, may not help anything, I may make people mad. I promise you, I'm not trying to make people mad. I'm not trying to cause a fuss. But kind of like Mike Rowe on his thing, if you spend a little time and train these people, then everything will get better, because now we've just let everything go. And it's hard to get anything or get customer service anywhere you go, and it's only going to get worse if somebody don't step up and change some of this stuff. So if we can give a little gentle prodding every now and then, maybe somebody will hear it, somebody will pay attention, and maybe things will get better. Because pretty soon there's going to be a lot of stores nobody's going to want to shop at. It's already getting to the point there's a lot of stores you can't find what you need. So just something I thought I'd mention. And like with the manners and all, Long time ago, probably before I was born, somebody wrote a book, I think it was a lady, called Miss Manners, and people would discuss the proper etiquette. Well, I'm not into Little Lord Fauntleroy tea and crumpets etiquette, but you know, some of the things they mentioned back then, and this was probably in the 50s through the 70s when this come out, I'm not sure, they still apply today. I mean, respect never goes out of style. Common courtesy never goes out of style. It don't cost anything to be a little bit friendly and a little bit nice. And if you are, people don't mind come spending their money with you. And like me, sometimes I have a hard time figuring out where I'd want to go shop at. But enough of that silliness. Folks, thank y'all for watching. We'll keep an update maybe every week, or maybe even less than every week, on them sweet potato slips till we get ready to plant them. And the next little chore we'll do, we'll try to include y'all in that. I've got to break out my pole saw and trim some of these tree limbs before they all start brushing up and getting tall, get them where we can manage them. But as always, thank y'all for watching. If you like the videos, please tell your friends, hit the like and subscribe. And until next time, the good Lord's willing, the creek don't rise. We'll see y'all down the road. Thank y'all.